World Service, and this is the big idea. I found the most fascinating ideas around and the people who thought them up, and I'm going to do my best to explain them. Today's big idea: computer superintelligence, and how it may be humanity's last ever invention. Computers can smash humans at chess, but in other areas they still have a long way to go. They can't catch a ball, or speak as fluently as we can, or find a cure for malaria. If they were programmed to write a novel, it would be unreadable drivel. But at some stage, they'll be able to do all these things. When? A few years ago, the Swedish philosopher Nick Bostrom put that question to those who should know. The Uberboffins, the world's leading experts in artificial intelligence.
We asked, by which year do you think there is a 50% probability that we will have attained human-level machine intelligence?
That's the intelligence of humans in all our activities: reading, talking, researching, planning, calculating.
And the median answer was 2040 or 2045, depending on precisely which group of experts we asked. But with huge uncertainty on both sides of that, and also a lot of divergence between different experts. So some are absolutely convinced it's going to happen in 10, 15 years. Others are absolutely convinced it's never going to happen. But nevertheless, the median estimate was somewhere in that region, a few decades out.
So perhaps only a couple of decades away. And in fact, Bostrom says that progress has been more rapid than expected since that survey was conducted. Deep learning techniques by which computers teach themselves are proving astonishingly successful. But suppose computers crack human-level intelligence, sometimes called general artificial intelligence. That's when things get really interesting.
Question 2 is, if and when we do reach that point, how long will it then take until we get some form of radical superintelligence that totally outpaces us in every possible field?
Radical superintelligence is when computer capability takes off. The thought is this: once computers have reached a certain level of proficiency, there'll be no stopping them. They won't be held back like humans by biological constraints. A human brain is a limited size. Neurons fire at limited speed. Computers can be much bigger and almost infinitely fast. So how quickly will superintelligence follow? Professor Bostrom's answer to this question is extraordinary.
My view is we don't know, but that maybe it's more likely than not that it happens very rapidly. If by very rapidly you mean something less than a few years. It could be very, very rapidly. It could happen in an hour, or it could take a few years, but I kind of doubt it would take decades from that point on. Let me put it like this. It looks more difficult to get from where we are now to human-level general artificial intelligence than to get from human-level general artificial intelligence to radical superintelligence.
So the jump from general artificial intelligence to superintelligence may not take long. And then what?
If you think about the consequences of machine superintelligence, you realize it's the last invention humans will ever need to make. Because by definition, if you have machines that can do everything much better than we can, that includes science and engineering and invention. And that, moreover, once you have science, engineering and invention and all these other things taking place at digital timescales rather than biological timescales, then I think you get the kind of telescoping of the future, where all of those technologies we can already see are physically possible. Science fiction-like things like space colonizations, cures for aging, construction of fully realistic virtual realities, all of those things potentially become possible within a very short period of time after you have superintelligence that produce dust of other advancements towards them.
That's a mind-blowing idea. The superintelligent computer will be able to solve almost all our real-world problems, and fast. Conceivably within an hour. Hello, planet Mars. Goodbye food shortages, climate change, disease. Goodbye death even. If this all happens in the period many experts predict, there are people alive now who will never die.
It does look that there is a very substantial chance that young people today, I mean, even middle-aged people today, that the world could change radically before they reach the natural end point of their lives. It is a different world young people are growing up in today, but organically they are pretty much the same as kids were 100 years ago, or for that matter, 10,000 years ago. But within the next 100 years, within the next decades even, it's possible that that will start to change in pretty fundamental ways.
Great! So can we look forward to a super-intelligent run utopia? For what on Earth, or what on Mars, could go wrong?
I am the boss. I'm all around you. I am the computer.
Sci-fi TV has foreseen the biggest problem. How are we going to control these supercomputers? How are we going to stop them from ruling us? And this is not sci-fi fantasy. It's a challenge which AI experts are taking very seriously.
So ways of ensuring that machine intelligence systems do what we intend for them to do that don't rely on the machine intelligence system not being too smart. So examples of control methods that rely on them being not too smart, not too powerful. Pull the plug. It works great for current AI systems and indeed for a lot of other devices as well. Like you pull the plug if something goes wrong and try a reboot. It's the first thing to do. Or you give them a big thump with your boot. But once you have a sufficiently smart AI system that could fail in as much as a sufficiently smart AI system can anticipate what you want to do, and if it doesn't want to get switched off, it will then have an incentive to either prevent you from switching it off or from deceiving you so that you don't realize that it is malfunctioning in the first place.
A computer that won't do as it's told. Surely there's an obvious solution. Can't we just program the computers with certain rules? In a 1942 story, the science fiction writer Isaac Asimov proposed the 3 laws of robotics.
1. A robot may not injure a human being or allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings. 3. A robot must protect its own existence.
So one of those was allow no human to come to harm. It seems reasonable, and if you start to think through what it would entail, it would mean preventing any human from ever being born, because as soon as somebody comes into life, at some point they're going to come to harm.
So programming the computer with rules may go catastrophically wrong. The rule may be interpreted in ways we don't foresee. Is there a better approach?
You could try to construct the AI such that it observes what we do, maybe dialogues with us, and then builds up gradually improving understanding of what we want, our preferences. And then also, crucially, the AI needs to have a motivation system such that it is motivated to pursue these values that it gradually infers that we have.
Might they then become more moral than we are, more ethical than we are?
There certainly is a lot of room above us in terms of how moral we are. So yeah, that would be eminently possible.
Superintelligence may be coming, soon, and would better fix the control problem now. For quite possibly, just around the corner, everything is going to change, and in ways we've never experienced before. Thanks a lot for listening to The Big Idea from the BBC World Service with me, David Edmonds. The producer is Ben Cooper. If you like this episode and you're human, please leave a rating or comment if your podcast provider and computer allow you to. You can even let me know on social media about the big ideas you think I should be looking at. In episode 7, Boffin Baby Brains.